What's up, everybody? My name is Rishraff, and welcome back to another episode of Nil to Mill. Today, we are going to be going over values. Now, values can be a range of different things. Now, when you're coding, it's definitely important to know what values are. So, without further ado, let's get into the episode. I'm going to be giving you guys examples. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the server script storage, or server script service, I should say, and I'm going to insert a script. Okay, so we got the default print hello world. Now, values are not complicated at all. They're very simple. So we go to insert object, right? And we click that. So I'm going to type in value. Whoa, look at all these values that we have. So we have the basics. We have the bool. The bool is true, false. That's all you need to know. A boolean, the full name is boolean, but we call it bool, okay? So bool is true, false. Skip brick color, skip C-frame, skip color 3, int value. If you take in basic mathematics all the way to, I think, 7th grade, you should know what an integer is. Int value is basically, int is just integer. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all the whole numbers, okay? There's different names for them, but obviously it's just it's not, you can't have a decimal in an int value. That's basically it. An example of this would be, let's just say a counting system for how many apples you have or whatever. So you'd have 1, 2 apples, right? And you're probably like, okay, so how do I use decimals, like for speed and for time specific things? Well, you drop down and you have number value. It's actually called a flotation, a float. A float value is an exact number. So like 0.6, 6.9, 4.20. That's a float. If you're not sure what the car speed is going to be. So when I'm coding speed for a vehicle, you're probably like, okay, we go 0, we go 1, we go 60 miles per hour. Well, actually, you would use a number value because we can display it as a number value, as an int, but it's really a float because you got the exact mathematics going. So that's number value. Then we have an object value. So you'll notice how when I insert a part, this is an object. This is a scene object, right? I don't know what's going on with my computer, but this is a scene object. So this is a part, right? So this is an object inside of our game, okay? So let me go back to insert and let me go back to value. We have a string value. Now, strings are super easy to remember. It's basically text. That's all string is. It's anything inside quotations, okay? So as you can see in the script here, this print hello world, this is a string. This is what we would call a string value. So we're printing a string. We're printing text. Think of string just as text, okay? So I'm not going to get into any of the other values. I don't use the array value. I never use that. I don't use C-frame values. I don't use brick color values, and I don't use any of the other values, honestly. I will never use them, but I never think it's crucially important for a beginner. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and insert okay, so we have this part, right? And I'm going to go ahead and name this part, we'll name it Rishraff, right? No caps, right? No cap, it's Rishraff, okay? So we have the script, right? It doesn't matter about the name, okay? So let's just say I want to reference this part, okay? I want to get this part's name. Let's just do name, right? So you can get the part's name by going into properties, okay? And this is where you find the transparency, all that stuff, okay? So then what we do is we go to, we need to insert an object value. We can say workplace.find the part named Rishraff. That's perfectly fine. We can do that. That's actually a very simple way of doing it. But in this instance, we're going to be using values. And you're probably like, well, why do I need to learn this if I can just go ahead and do what you just said? Fine. What if we have 6 different Rishraff parts? Like if you have 6 different chairs and you have one that does a specific thing, a great way is to have an object value. So what we're going to do is you can insert an object value into anything, but I'm going to insert into the script. So if you're having an object value inside of a script, it's a really good idea to have it as a child of a script. If you guys don't know what child and parents are, find my click detector video. It's one of my first Roblox videos. And you go into insert right here. So we're going to insert a value. All right, so I just type in value. And what we're going to do is we're going to insert a object value. Now this has a name, okay? So we're going to call this our object value, just like this, okay? You don't have to call it that, but I do, okay? So when you go back to your script, you say script dot. Now, it's a child, so you just have to mention the script. It's basically just like speaking English, and we're going to say object value. Boom. It shows up. If it shows up for you, you did it right. If it doesn't, rewind the video and go back. Object value dot value. And you're probably like, why do I have to add dot value? Okay, so this right here has a value. Notice how there's nothing here. Well, because we need to assign it. So we're going to go and click the value. Boom, we should get a parent object right here. A little cursor with our little mouse thing right here. And we can assign it. So I'm going to click the part Rishraff. Boom. And you'll notice that it just changed. It changed to Rishraff. So this value is going to be Rishraff. So it's really cool the way this works. And if you're still confused, it's okay. Just rewind the video and follow step by step. But I'm going to go super slow here. Not entirely, but so this is an object value. It's like a little hand, right? It's just basically holding something. So it's telling us, hey, this value is Rishraff right here, okay? So it's basically how to reference something. Let me give you another example. If I have a TV in my living room, okay, and I have a remote, you'll probably find in the remote, it'll say, what's the object value of the TV? Or what's the object of this TV? It's a little object value. It's a placeholder for what it is. So we can reference it basically. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this out. And we're going to say print. We're going to say script object value. So the way coding works is it basically just auto completes for you. If it auto completes, you're doing it right. Most of the time it will, but if you're doing complex stuff, it will not auto complete because you're doing something that the game is just not predicting. So I'm going to go ahead and print this. So when you have dot value, now you're referencing this part. So you're not even talking about the object value. So when you do dot value, or it's referencing whatever the value is. So now I'm technically on this part right here. So I can edit anything on here. So I'm going to say print the name. And speaking of name, the name is a string. So when you print things, it's always good to make it a string. You can print integers and floats and all that, and numbers and all that, but it would just convert it to a string. But we always want to try and make it easier for the computer to make it a string. So let's go ahead and we'll actually wait for the part to initialize. So we'll just wait like 2 seconds. Every time you type in wait, it's per seconds, okay? So we're gonna wait, boom, right here. So you'll notice at the bottom right here in my output, it says Rishraff. And we click go to source, and it's because we printed the object value.name. So you're probably like, I'm still confused. Let me explain how this works. You have your script right here. It's running. It's constantly running, right? Now, you're saying in the script, you're saying script right here, dot object value. So you get the object value. And inside this, you say dot. If you want to say dot, it's basically inside or as a child. Rishraff, the value. But you can't say dot Rishraff. You have to say dot value because that's the property. You have to mention these class names. So let's do it again. Script dot object value dot value, and then you get this. This is Rishraff, so we'll go back to Rishraff because that's what we're referencing, and it'll say dot name. So then I'll just find name here, and this is the class name name. And what is it? It's Rishraff. That's what we just basically did. So what I'll do is, oops, I'll change it back. Hold on. So I'll give you guys another example. So what I'll do is I'll change the transparency of this. Actually, no. What we'll do is I'll change it to anchored because anchored is anchoring the part. I'll do can collide off. Okay? Can collide means you can go through the block. Can collide. So then we'll do, instead of printing the name, we'll print can. It actually auto completes because it knows what we're trying to do. We'll press tab and we'll auto complete that. Now you're probably like, well, this is a check mark. How are you supposed to print a string? Well, it's a Boolean value. It's a bool. So we should get a true or false. So in this instance, the check means it's true. The unchecked means it's false. So we should get an output of script.parent.value.canCollide. So it's this. We should get false. So I'm going to go ahead and play it here. And boom, we get it in the output. It's false. And there's a lot of things that you can do with this. For example, if you have a vehicle, you can get all 4 of the wheels this way. If you have a TV, like previously mentioned, you can get the specific remote. If you have a light switch, this is one of the best examples I can give you. If you have a light switch, then all you have to do is click detector. We'll learn about those. But when you click the part, you can get the object value and see what light we're actually talking about. And then, so yeah, if you guys have any other questions, these are basically values. You're probably like, well, I don't even know how to use these. Don't worry, we're going to use them in the future. I just wanted to introduce them. As you can see, we have the bool, true, false. We have the int, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have the number, which is a float. So it's basically like 6.9. Anything point. Well, a float, now just not to confuse you, a number value is a float. So I just use float because I code C#. But number value can be 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be anything. It's just that an integer int value is restricted to only whole numbers, and a number value can be anything. It could be decimals in it too. And then the object value you just saw, and then string value I just mentioned. Okay, so the string is text, object is whatever's in the scene. It could even be like player. You could say you can set an object value too. So I'm actually going to do something. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we'll actually X this out. So now we don't have a value. So if I tried to print this right here, we would get an error because we don't have a value. So what we can do is we'll just do like, we have a part right here. We'll say like a local part or something, right? And then we have our part. Let's just say we reference it on, we reference it automatically. And then we'll do, all we have to do is to set an object value. So like you would use this when a player sits in a vehicle or when a player touches something or anything. All we'll do is say script dot object value dot value equals part. So now when the game runs, this object values, the object values value, like this part right here, will become the part. We don't have like a specific thing. So like I just made that up, but like this would become the part. So you can change this. You can modify these throughout the game. And these are very important. So those are just values. It's very simple. It's very basic. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to learn a specific thing, highly recommend you go to my Discord. You go to video suggestions. I look there a lot, but YouTube comments also work. Like the video. Can we smash 69 likes on this video? Wait a second. But yeah, if we can get like a lot of likes on these videos, I'll keep making these tutorial series because I know you guys really want to learn. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.